What today's all about is the 50th anniversary of the biggest tragedy we've had in our community around here. 50 years ago, Hurricane Audrey made landfall down here in Cameron Parish, and the problem was people had to evacuate ahead of time, and so because of that, the storm surge piled in and people drowned.
Some through the fire, but all through the flood. Some through great sorrow, but God gives a song in the night season and all the day long.
One of the things that we did today that was unique about this was the fact that because this happened 50 years ago, a lot of survivors have passed on, and family members wanted to get together and kind of to share stories of things that have happened there in the past. So this is an opportunity to come back together again and let us hear about some of the things that happened back in times that, you know, literally, so that we don't have history repeating itself. Things that we can learn from the things that happened in our past.
Come through the fire, but all through the flood. Come through great sorrow, but God gives a song in the night season and all the day long.
If you're a survivor, or if you had a family member who survived through the hurricane, there's an opportunity with the Cameron Communications of recording your testimony, and the parish will be archiving that and saving it.
I was stationed at Lake Charles Air Force Base, over in Lake Charles. And it was Lake Charles Air Force Base at the time. They renamed it later to Chenal. But I rode the Hurricane out at the base, and it was a small wooden building. As a matter of fact, and it stood up, took the roof off, but the building stood. But the water receded the next morning, and they asked for volunteers to come to Cameron. So I volunteered. I couldn't do anything over there. I volunteered to come over to Cameron, and got on a boat early the next morning, and we got here about 11 or 12 o'clock here in Cameron. Right here in this area, these trees weren't here, but there was cars and trucks just piled up here. I mean, they were in a pile. I remember that. Actually, the only survivors was here in the courthouse at that time. By the time we got here, then we started finding bodies, and that's where we really run into a lot of bodies. They set a little ice house up out here, brought blocks of ice in, and we stacked the bodies in that ice house. Yeah, I spent that one day here, and that's all I can tell you. But it was a terrible thing. It was sad. Oh, I felt sorry for the people. But when I got back to the base after I left here, I didn't eat or sleep for 3 days and nights. I couldn't.
But that morning, my grandma, I lived with my grandma and grandfather. We wanted to go spend a summer at Mr. Michon on Little Chenier. So we left that morning and rode to Mr. Michon. Got there about 8 o'clock. About 9:30, 10 o'clock, water got there. Everybody that was in the house, we had to get them up in the attic or they would all drown. Which we did. We got them up in the attic. By that time, the water was at the ceiling. So I told my brother, I said, we have to get out of the house because if it goes off the block, once it goes down, we'll be trapped. So we climbed on top of the roof. We shimmied up on a TV antenna pole that was against the house and got on top of the roof. And the water was splashing over the house. It had a big tree holding the house. So to get out of the splash of the water, we climbed up in the oak tree. This was about 10:30, something like that. Well, we stayed there in that tree till about 12, 1 o'clock the next day. We come down and we had still chest water was still shoulder deep. It was bad. You could scream at one another, and you couldn't hear. The ears hurt. The noise is deafening. It hurts your ears. And your eyes, you got to cover your eyes because it rang. And it burns. It was bad. When we finally come there and they brought us a boat, we got the family down, and we got them inside. It was a big flat. And we got all inside the boat, and we rode across the big burn up to the, I don't know if you know where the Intercoastal Canal, where the Gippsland Bridge is. Well, they had ducks there, Army ducks and buses. So they brought us there, and we got on the buses. They wanted me to come back with the duck to show them where to go. I said, no, thank you. I've had enough. I didn't go back.